Good morning, ass kickers. Happy Monday. I am so glad to be here this morning doing these weekly live videos with you. I am on a different day. I'm usually here Thursdays at noon. However, it's Monday at 10:35 Eastern time. So I'm kind of throwing people for a loop. I know, but I wanted to make sure that I got in a video for you this week because this is a topic I love to talk about. We're talking about control today. And if you are brand new to me, hi, my name is Andrea Owen and I run the joint over here at Your Kick-Ass Life. And tell me your favorite emoji. I always love to see what your favorite emoji is, or just to tell me where you're from. I'm on the East Coast in North Carolina, but tomorrow morning I'm headed out to California. I'm going to be hosting an event in Huntington Beach, California, and I'm actually from San Diego. So tell me where you're from. Tell me what your favorite emoji is. I hope you're all having a really great Monday. And while I'm waiting for you to tell me all those wonderful things, I'm going to jump in with today's topic. You know, as I was typing into Facebook what the topic is, I was like, you know what, we need a different word or term for someone who likes to control, because I really don't like the term control freak. It just feels a little bit terrible, right? Who's with me? I believe that it's truly terrible. Hi, Suzanne from Reno. And namaste, there's your emoji. Thank you. And the term control freak, I think it's a little bit ghastly. Like, can we find a different word for it? But alas, that's what I named the title of this book, 52 Ways to Live a Kick-Ass Life, which is my very first book. And that is what I am doing every week, is coming to you with a new chapter and new topic. And this is chapter 23 that we are talking about today. Don't be a control freak. And I truly believe I can talk about this and be, call myself an expert on this topic, because it takes one to know one. I struggle with control with the best of them. And if you listen to my podcast, you know that it's one of the things that I work on still pretty much daily, about learning to let go. I got the word surrender tattooed in my own handwriting on my arm, because that is something that those of us that struggle with control need to lean on. Learning how to surrender, learning how to let go, learning how to trust ourselves and the world that everything is going to be okay if we don't have control over everything. And so I wanted to kind of read to you just a few things from this chapter. And maybe you're not sure, like you're like, I don't know, do I struggle with control? So here's just like a quick checklist of things that might be happening if you do struggle with control. So number one, people that struggle with control believe that if someone else would just change one or two things about him or herself, everyone would benefit, especially the one controlling. So they try to help others by pointing out their perceived flaws, usually over and over again, and they make it look like constructive criticism. You know, I'm just trying to help you out. People that struggle with control have unrealistic expectations, and in order to make them happen, they micromanage others. You might know someone like this. Maybe you've had a boss or manager in the past who's been a little bit of a micromanager, or maybe you are one yourself. People that struggle with control tend to not believe in imperfection and don't think anyone else should either. They have a hard time not knowing something and have their hands in many cookie jars at the same time. And sometimes people who struggle with control manipulate others by presenting the worst case scenario. In other words, they scare the shit out of people in order to get what they want. I used to do all of those things. Like I say in the chapter in the book, my therapist actually called it out that I had issues with control. She actually called me a control freak. We had a relationship for a long time. She'd been my therapist for a while, so it was okay that she used that. And I was really kind of insulted at first. And I was like, no. It's everyone else's fault. If everyone would just behave, and I felt like they were just being terrible on purpose, they would just do what I said, then everybody would be happier. You know, everyone would be more relieved. They just didn't know it yet. If they could just do what I said and as I directed, then everyone's life would be so much easier. it was a hard pill to swallow that actually wasn't true. And, I think from a logical standpoint, we all know that there are very few things that we have control over, if really any, right? We cannot control the weather. We can't control other people's feelings, other people's words, other people's personalities, their opinions, their judgments of us. We can't control any of that. And I also want to say too, with how uncertain things are in the world right now, with so many things going on politically, with the natural disasters going on, a lot of us are in a lot of pain and fear, right? So what tends to happen is the more fear we are in, the more uncertainty we feel in our lives, whether it's our immediate personal life or whether it is the world at large, the more many people try to grasp onto some semblance of control. I was just talking to a friend over the weekend, and she said she was at a baby shower, and the woman who was going to have a baby, the guest of honor's mother, who was hosting the event, was controlling everything to, it's like, no, only eat these foods right now, and at 2:00 we're going to go ahead and eat these foods. Can you only sit here? And it was like she was like the referee of what was going on. And I was like, wow, that sounds like somebody who really struggles with control. And what tends to happen is people feel better about themselves when they feel like they can control something, whether it's what people are eating at a baby shower, whether it is, if people are taking their shoes off or not in their house. And it can be many, many, many things. I wanted to read to you one thing too that's in this book on page 105, if y'all are following along. It's my opinion that people who live to control are doing it to meet a need, grasping at straws to create order in their life because deep inside they are suffering. Perhaps they know what the suffering is about, or maybe they don't. But what I do know is that making it your career to control is not going to solve your problems. The suffering will stay. The facade of control is like putting a Band-Aid on a gushing wound. So without going into 2 hours of workshop around control, because I feel that control, the bottom line of it, like I just mentioned in that paragraph, is most of the time there is that need for some kind of certainty. So it really, for that example that I just gave you about the baby shower, it's not about the food, and it's not about the people at her house. It's not about time management. There's other things going on in her life that she is struggling with, and she feels better when she can control something. And many times that feels like relief, even if it's just for an hour. But then, the people leave her house, and then she still has all of these things that are going on. And I did write a very expanded chapter on it in my second book that's coming out, and that's coming out in January. And I think I'll just leave you with this one thing, and that is around awareness. And if you find yourself sort of like getting like, like, why won't they just do what I say? Or, even in something as simple as traffic. Raise your hand if you find yourself at a standstill in traffic and you're going to be late for something, and you're like, somebody just can't get me a gun, right? Like, this is where road rage comes from, because it is, people that are hurt about other things get so just like can't control this thing, this traffic, or someone cut them off, and they offload and they go nuts. And so what if you practiced, and this has been a huge practice of my own, in that traffic, like when I hit like a gridlock or something like that, or behind, okay, I'm in rural North Carolina. So for us, it's like you get behind a tractor, you get behind a tractor on the road, and you're like, oh my God, this isn't happening. You're going to make me late. My mantra now, many of you know I'm a big fan of mantras, is I say, I'm going to get there when I get there. That's it. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do about traffic. There's nothing I can do about so many things in the world. It's like, yes, you can donate money to relief funds in the world. Yes, you can Call your senators about political issues that you believe in. There are small things that you can do when you're feeling out of control about big things. Yes, you can have hard conversations with people that you care about, but then it's about stepping back and really being conscious of what you can and cannot control in your life and noticing. Here's what I really want you to walk away with. Notice when you are allowing that angst and that feeling of tightening and wanting to control everything that you can, when you're allowing that to dictate your feelings, when you're allowing that to dictate decisions that you make, when you're allowing that to dictate how you treat other people. So road rage, are you snapping at people who don't deserve it? Whatever it is, it's allowing that feeling of lack, of feeling out of control, of wanting to have control and not being able to, allowing that to dictate your thoughts, your feelings, and your behaviors. That's what I want you to walk away with and just really, really think about. Because again, this, that we're walking into territory around surrender and self-trust. And I think that's all really great. But in this video, I don't want to try to give you a sip of water out of a fire hose. So I know for many of you, it's like a brand new topic, like, oh my gosh, maybe I struggle with control too. I'm not going to say control freak because I don't like that term. So thank you so much for being here. And if you are interested in that expanded version of control, I talk about so many strategies and solutions on how to solve that. And I talk about self-trust and surrender. So this book is coming out January 2nd, y'all. How to Stop Feeling Like Shit. 14 habits that are holding you back from happiness. One of those 14 habits is control. And that comes out January 2nd. I am going on a small little book tour where I'm going to be doing events and some very exclusive workshops that I'm so very excited about to be able to connect with my audience in person. And I'm going to pop a link in there where you can just sign up to be notified. Maybe if I'm coming to a city near you. I know for sure I'm going to New York City, DC, Greensboro, because I'm right outside of Greensboro, North Carolina, San Diego. Those are for sure on the list. So if you know that you want to even just be notified about any events around the book, I'm going to pop that link in there for you. The book is also available for pre-order, so I will put that in there for you too. Pre-orders matter so much. I'm going to keep saying this ad nauseum. I don't think enough authors talk about how important pre-orders are to our careers, to our writing careers, and our careers at large. It matters. Those numbers matters. I try not to focus too much on stats and numbers and things like that, but pre-orders definitely matter to us a lot. So thank you so much for your support and showing up to these videos. I'm going to hop on over to the comments and see if I missed anything. And Marlissa is here. Hey, like your pumpkin emoji. So Suzanne says, love this topic. I'm always reminded I'm powerless over other people and their actions, circumstances. Accepting things as they are and brings me back. Tough sometimes, but true. Absolutely. One of my favorite sayings from 12-step programs is keep your side of the street clean. And what they mean by that, or what I interpret that in my experience to be, is that you can only control your own stuff. You can only control your own behaviors. You can clean up your own messes. You can be in charge and be responsible for how you show up in the world, in conversations, in your behaviors. Other people, that's their side of the street, and that's up to them. And that's just like, again, there's so many really great sayings in 12-step programs. That's one of my favorites. Keep your side of the street clean. I can only keep my side of the street clean. So thank you so much, you guys. I will be back next Thursday, regular time at noon Eastern time. What are we talking about next week? Let's see. We are talking about drama, ditching the drama addiction. So hope to see you there for that. Again, I will pop the link in the comments about this book. And thank you so much for being here. Happy Monday. Bye.